Hello and welcome back. This is Morphe again, casting Game 4 of the VPL Double Elimination Tournament between myself and the Terran player Lynx. We are on Tal'Darim Altar, and I'm going to be spawning in the top right as the red Protoss pieces, and Link is spawning in the bottom right as the green Terran. The series right now is 2-1 in my favor. Link taking the last game on Antigua Shipyards with a very well executed 1-1-1. An extremely difficult build to hold off. My plan in this game, after scouting him, the reason I chose Tal'Darim Altar actually, is that I noticed that he wasn't doing a lot of map scouting, and I was just planning to sneak an early expand in on one of these expansions up here in the north, or if he was on this west side, somewhere down in this area. And then I was going to hope to use that to hold off the 1-1-1 if he intended to do the same build. I know you can actually do gateway expands and hold a 1-1-1 off anyways, but I was kind of worried if I misjudged whether a 1-1-1 was coming, that I would take an early expand off one or two gateways and then fall immediately to some sort of early barracks pressure. So, you know, always good to go into a game with a plan in mind. I don't know how good this plan actually is. At a much higher level it would just never work, because at a much higher level they're just going to be scouting the whole map so much more that you'll never be able to hide an expansion from them. Link's scouting in the right direction right off the bat, while I am unfortunately scouting in the wrong direction and will be scouting him last. Although I did notice just from the scout timing, I decided to go cross map, because with the scout getting in my base that early, I thought there was a high chance that he was either, you know, in the bottom right position. And if I'm wrong, well, it's still not that much further to scout over there. Again, both of us doing just a very standard opening with the 15 orbital command and that Marine on 16. No gas taken from Link yet though, so as soon as I notice that, I get a little worried, and I kind of cancel my plan of running over and sneaking an expansion right away, because I don't want to fall to that early Marine pressure. So I get another gateway up immediately so I can start putting out enough units to defend against the barracks pressure. I didn't notice that Link, of course, was also planning a fast expand, and I never got a chance to scout that command center going up in the corner. Actually very well positioned too. Again, higher level games they're going to scout more prolifically, but at a lower level game you've got a good chance of getting that expansion in there and scaring the hell out of your opponent because he thinks a lot of racks pressure is coming when you're really just taking an economic opening. I send this probe over here to get ready for the expansion, but I don't intend to put it down until I have a couple more gateway units out and feel safe from any sort of Marine pressure. Link taking the watchtower, very nice. And if we check the units tab, slight worker lead for me, but again those mules make up for it when it comes to the mineral income. So chrono boost, helping me get a little ahead in workers, but not helping me get ahead in economy. And I kind of like that, throwing down the two geysers at the same time. You know, it really helps to get that fast expand, and then you get a lot of barracks out, but then you get, you know, you start getting the same gas you would have gotten by throwing down an early geyser and a late geyser. You just get it a little bit later, because you get both geysers at once. One point to note is that these SCVs, whenever you build a building, you should hold the shift button as you're building, you know, setting down the little silhouette, and then left click or right click back to your minerals to queue them up so they immediately move back and start mining again. You never want to have too many idle workers. And at some point I should realize that an attack is not coming and drop this expansion here. And there it goes, because I don't want to get too far behind him if he was going for a fast expand. Again, probably should have left that probe maybe over in this area under this tree so I could scout to see if it was a fast expand, because a no gas opening from Terran is almost always going to be either a really early Marine rush or some sort of fast one rare barracks expansion. But the general look is looking good over here, just going off of 3 gateways, getting the expansion down, putting a nice reinforcing pylon over here to enable me to warp in if any attacks come in. Sentry's not quite as useful on this map just because there is no, if you look at the attack paths, they're very wide open, so you need some pretty good force fields or early sentries with a lot of energy to really affect any barracks armies that come in. And Link just playing very safely, getting a couple bunkers at the front, producing a lot of SCVs. I'm finally getting my Robo Bay down and just finishing that expansion up north. And that's one of the downsides of sneaking an expansion, of course, is that I'm not able to transfer workers. I do, however, have that all-important watchtower, so I can see most of the attack paths that come in. Probably should have gotten a pylon down in this area to see if any Reapers are sneaking in, or if any Banshee wants to come around the side. I wasn't super worried about that because of the late gas. But if he got his late gas and then got a kind of late Banshee, my Robo was pretty late. I would be very unprepared for a Banshee with Cloak to hit around the 9-10 minute mark. I think I'm just now getting my first observer, indeed. Meanwhile, Link adding on that reactor, getting the starport. Presumably the starport will switch over here to get that reactor. And not staying on just 2 barracks. He did that fast expand, so now he's getting a lot of barracks, going to have a lot of Marines and Marauders up. I still think that Link is going a little too Marine heavy. Would like to see more Marauders in that mix. But still, at our level of play, really just making units is more than enough to win most of your games. So, Standard Gateway Army coming out, Link getting his +1, his combat shield, stim already finished, and he is starting to add Marauders to that group. So getting a very scary force. I'm adding on another gateway in the Robo facility, going to start doing Colossus production, letting the worker production slip and letting that chrono get way too high. Never should you have 84 chrono on a Nexus. It's just completely unnecessary. And I've got such a heavy gateway count that I am going to drop that Twilight Council and start trying to get upgrades there. Once the Zealots have that leg speed and the Stalkers have blink, they're so much more effective against barracks units. I was really happy to see that scan because I wanted Link to feel a lot of pressure. As you can see, he threw down another bunker immediately, was queuing up a second bunker here, but it got blocked, or he canceled it. But seeing that I'm on 1 base, he's feeling a lot of pressure to protect himself, since I could be doing some large 1 base timing attack, which in fact buys me the time I need to really start getting the extra gas income from this base. If we look at the Workers tab, he is definitely ahead in the Workers, and my expansion was up at close enough time to his that that's actually just my fault. I slipped on producing Workers quite a bit this game. No reason to do that. First Colossus is out, and Thermal Lance, is it being chrono boosted? It is not being chrono boosted. Another gateway going down, so I'm going to be operating off of 6 gateways and a Robo, which is just about perfect when you're off of 2 bases. You can produce off all of those fairly often. And I am just tossing down what is my 3rd, but looks to Link like my 2nd. And money should be getting another Colossus out. Money's getting up there a ways. Especially my gas. I believe I took my geysers here a little too early, so I'm building up more gas than I really can afford to deal with, especially with my... I kind of like a Zealot heavy army against gateway or against barracks units. Attack moving out. Zealot leg speed and Thermal Lance both finishing before this attack hits. That's actually pretty critical. If he'd moved this force out 1.5 minutes ago, he might have been able to roll my entire army. I don't think my positioning is that good. I'm moving back to take care of a drop over in the natural, but